Back again with another video. A couple of months ago, or about a month ago, I uploaded a video talking about a friend of mine who is an elderly woman. She was once married to a verbally and physically abusive man. He almost killed her, and she got out of the relationship. She divorced him, but by that time she had already had 3 children by him, and she regretted her decision to marry him and to have children. So I wanted to talk some more about that. What I left out of the first video is that her problem is her situation is very multifaceted and fucked up on so many levels. And there was a lot of factors that led up to her being involved in that situation. See, for one, she was raised on a farm by a widowed grandmother. She knew her mother. She was sent to be raised by her grandmother while her mother worked. And she knew of her father, but her father really didn't play a big role in her life. So it's like I get the impression from talking to her that she never really had a positive male presence or role model in her life. She never had a strong fatherly type figure in her life to give her advice or a male's perspective on how a man should treat a woman or how men and women should interact in relationships and gender roles, etc. So her situation was doomed to fail from the start because she never really had the benefit of seeing a man and woman in a loving and healthy relationship. And I would say that her framework of reference for what would constitute a successful nuclear family was really limited. So by the time she met this guy that she married, basically her head was in the clouds and she had no idea how to choose a good mate and a person to have a family with. And not only that, I think that her story serves as somewhat of a precautionary tale against getting married too young, because this woman got married when she was 16 years old and had her first kid a year later. And she had, like I said, she really had no idea how to choose a man. Like she didn't know what it is to choose a person who would have the attributes of a good father or a good husband. And I think that she really just chose based off of his looks, superficial things like, how he treated her in the beginning, how much money he spent on her, the type of car that he was driving, where he took her out on dates, little bullshit like that, instead of choosing based on his character, whether he would be a good provider for his family. She probably just developed this romanticized ideal of what a relationship should be about versus what a relationship is about in reality, in the real world. It's basically screwed her life up because, her going back to her not having, or her there being a lack of a father figure in her life, that impacted her future generations. It's like it turned out to be almost like a generational curse, because she didn't have a father figure in her life. Then her children ended up not having a father figure in their life because he was not there to provide any emotional or financial support. So, I can see now that even her grandchildren are suffering that generational curse of not having a father figure in her life. And it's sad because it's probably going to continue for future generations. One of one of her children is an alcoholic. The other two were on drugs for most of their adult life. One of them passed away recently. And it just all goes back to her choice of spouse. It impacted her future generations, and it also impacted her life. She could have been doing so many much more productive things with her life than having children with a crazy dude. You know, I'm going to say it. Some people don't even deserve to procreate. Some people shouldn't be having children because they don't have what it takes. It takes a person with a very strong moral compass and a person who's devoted to their role as a parent to raise a successful person or a productive member of society. I would advise against anyone under the age of 25 having children or even entering into a long-term committed relationship or marriage, because most people in that age group are just too immature to know what it takes to have a successful marriage and family. You know, you don't even know at that age, you barely know yourself, much less getting to know another person and their idiosyncrasies, and having the discipline to make it work, because marriage is takes a lot of work to make a marriage successful. And instead of getting married, I would encourage people to date a variety of different people from different backgrounds and ethnicities. Travel, get to know a lot of different people before you settle on one person, making that commitment to one person. I'm not saying go out there and have sex with a lot of different people. Just forge relationships with a lot of different people and get to know them. And, set some goals for yourself outside of relationship goals, like educational goals, goals for making money, getting yourself out of debt if you're in debt, learning languages, things like that. Make yourself a well-rounded person. I think I'm going to end the video on that note. Thank you for watching.